The tape for Manny Pacquiao against Juan Manuel Marquez. And of course, the 6-year age advantage for Pacquiao is cited by many as critical. It's one of the reasons he's a heavy favorite to win the fight. A half-inch height advantage for Marquez. They're equal in arm length from the armpit to the end of the fist. They both weighed in a pound or two under the 144-pound agreed-upon catch weight limit. Neither felt compelled to go all the way to 144 tonight. Pacquiao weighs a few more pounds at 148, and Marquez has gone up to 150. Box numbers, and in the first two fights, the same pattern was observed in both fights, and that pattern is Pacquiao throws more, and particularly throws more jabs, but lands at a lower percentage than Marquez, who landed more punches and landed more power punches in both of the two fights and landed at a higher connect percentage in both of the two fights. The most important statistic, however, knockdowns. In 24 rounds, Pacquiao was able to put Marquez on the canvas 4 times. Marquez never was able to get Pacquiao down, and that's the reason that Pacquiao has a draw and a 1-point win in 2 fights coming into tonight. Highlights of the 2 fights. Their first fight 7 years ago, May 8, 2004. And in the first round, Emmanuel Stewart, it appeared that Marquez was not ready, was not dialed in on Pacquiao's left-hand power and his speed.
Yeah, he was not prepared for it because unlike most guys who throw their left hand just to land and make a contact, Manny Pacquiao punches all the way through his target, and he got hit with 3 great left hands, went down, and after he figured that out, he came back and fought a great fight. But he had a real tough first round.
But after that first round, in the eyes of one judge, Marquez won 10 of the next 11. As he turned the fight around with tremendous right-hand counterpunching, seemed to have Pacquiao solved. They fought furiously to the finish. Pacquiao made a comeback later in the fight and landed some more power shots, but Marquez reached the final bell thinking he had come all the way back from the 3 knockdowns to win the fight. Instead, it was called a draw, and technically incorrectly so, because Burt Clement's score of 113-113 was wrought partially by the fact that in the first round, despite the fact that Marquez went down 3 times, he gave him 7 points. The other 2 judges both scored the first round correctly, 10-6 for Pacquiao. Guy Jutras loved the counterpunching of Marquez. Jon Stewart loved the aggression of Pacquiao. So they fought again 3 years later in 08. And actually it was 4 years later in 08. And the fight began pretty much the same way, and in round 3, Pacquiao's left hand found the target again.
That is what he has to look out for tonight even. Seems like he gets hit mainly with the left hand mostly because Marquez keeps his right hand a little bit wide with his defensive way he fights, and Manny finds a gap to get inside of it. But beyond that, Manny Pacquiao has a rough time with Marquez, except for those left-hand shots that he could get inside with.
Later in the fight, Marquez was cut by an accidental bunt. Then Pacquiao was cut by a punch. Then Marquez was cut by a punch. Then they fought feverishly to the bell with blood on both of their faces. And when the final bell rang, once again, the judges had an extremely difficult assignment on their hands. And this time, they met the challenge in very similar fashion to the scoring of the first fight. Wayne Ford liked Pacquiao's aggression. Jerry Roth liked Marquez's counterpunching. Tom Miller in the middle was the man who broke the draw. 114-113 for Pacquiao. So the knockdown in the 3rd round, a single point, the difference in the fight, the reason Pacquiao was able to beat Marquez in their 2nd fight. Since those 2 fights, Manny Pacquiao has mounted one of the most amazing sustained runs in the history of the sport. He went up to lightweight and beat David Diaz. He went to welterweight and beat Oscar De La Hoya. He beat Ricky Hatton at junior welterweight. He beat Miguel Cotto at welterweight. He went to 154 pounds and beat Joshua Clottey. He easily beat the much bigger Antonio Margarito. He walked through Shane Mosley at welterweight. Every one of those fighters, a naturally larger man than Pacquiao, none of them anywhere close to giving him competition in the ring.
And you know what, in addition to those being such big, famous, recognizable marquee names, he probably lost about 4 rounds total.
He annihilated them. Meanwhile, Juan Manuel Marquez has had 1 slip-up since the 2 fights with Pacquiao. That was the one time he decided to go up and weight to welterweight, fight Floyd Mayweather at a catchweight. He was as though in quicksand in that fight, had no chance of keeping up with Mayweather, and was annihilated over the course of 12 rounds. In addition, Mayweather knocked him down, so did the relatively ordinary Michael Katsidis. Obviously, to have a best chance to prove his point and win against Pacquiao tonight, Marquez must try to stay on his feet for the full 12 rounds. Their records are amazingly similar. Marquez's record is 53-5-1 with 39 knockouts. Pacquiao is 53-3-2 with 38 knockouts, virtually identical. Juan Manuel Marquez, in the second half of his career, finally emerged from under the big shadows cast by his more famous countrymen, Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales. Max, did he simply outlast them, or did he get better?
Well, he was a little younger and fresher than those guys, and truth be told, a little more scientific of a boxer, although Barrera developed later in his career, and you could argue maybe just a little better.
And Emmanuel Stewart, about 10 years ago, you were training Prince Nassim Hamed, who has been a giant star in the featherweight division, but you knew at the time about Marquez.
This was the only fighter that I told Chris when I started training that I never wanted him to fight. And it's amazing to see him still fighting on this level, which is about 10 years later, and still a star. And he's fought some of the best fighters in the world, but he still hasn't become that big superstar in Mexico, even though he's a star fighter. Like his great counterpart before him, Julio Cesar Chavez is a great knockout with Mildred Taylor with 2 seconds left, beating Hector Camacho and Rosario, 2 of the greatest Puerto Rico champions. He has not been able to do this. Tonight brings everything to him on his table. If he wins this tonight, he is a big star in so many different ways.
Larry Merchant's great line in their first fight. Marquez is making the stand of his life because this is the fight of his life. That was the fight of his life then. This, in an even bigger way, is the fight of his life tonight. And now the crowd begins to chant for Pacquiao. And the Mexicans chant, Marquez, Marquez, Marquez. Over the years, the tradition between Filipinos and Mexicans has become enormously intense. And the competition exists not just between the fighters, but among their fans as well.
And you know, Manny Pacquiao has beaten so many of the great Mexican fighters. So if Marquez could pull this off tonight, it would make him like a giant.
Well, a long time ago, there was a fighter named Roger Mayweather who used to call himself the Mexican Assassin, but nowadays, the real Mexican Assassin is this man, Max. 15 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw against Mexican fighters.
Oh, he's wiped out an entire generation of the greatest Mexican champions. Lots on the line in this fight for Marquez as a result. But Pacquiao has such an aggressive, crowd-pleasing style. In a way, he's an honorary Mexican fighter. There's a lot of love among Mexican fight fans for Pacquiao
because of the way he fights.
Of course.
Is this gamesmanship, Emmanuel? Is he making Marquez wait in the ring just a little bit?
That's not normally a Manny Pacquiao type thing, but yes, that's the only thing I can see. There seems to be no reason, particularly he's been in so many super fights here, the same as Marquez, that he would be running on a better schedule than this. But whatever the reason is, it's unusual.
The most prominent fighter-trainer relationship in the sport now is that between Pacquiao and his guru, Freddie Roach. For his part, Roach said, there's no need for a new wrinkle against Marquez. The need is for great intensity, for Manny to realize the seriousness of the situation and to rise to the occasion once again.
Pacquiao's one of the greatest fighters you will ever see. I don't care if you live to be 100. And he's still in something like his prime, maybe still in his prime. It's an event every time he fights.
my chances. With the distance I back on my feet, just to make endless will to survive. So many times it happens too fast to trade your passion for glory. Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. Come on, it's the hour of tiger with the coolness to fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival. Never let no survivors start to play tonight. These fortunes are in the air. Yeah, the tiger. Let's not be honest to the jam to the street. For the truth, the skill to survive. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the king of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival. Never let no survivors not stay tonight. These fortunes are in the air. Yeah!
One of the world's most joyfully comfortable public figures, to be sure. Fight fans enjoy him while they can. Let's go back to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, we are about to turn the page to Chapter 3 in the trilogy of 2 future Hall of Fame fighters. If you love boxing, you're gonna love this. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Welterweight Championship of the World. Brought to you by Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated, MP Promotions, and Marquez Boxing. Sponsored by Tecate, Cerveza con Carácter, AT&T. Get it faster with 4G, rethink possible, and Smart Communications of the Philippines. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Skip Avancino, Executive Director Keith Kaiser, and the World Boxing Organization President and Supervisor tonight at ringside, Francisco Paco Barcarcel. The 3 judges at ringside scoring this bout will be Robert Hoyle, Dave Moretti, and Glenn Trowbridge. And inside the ring, in charge of the action, referee Tony Weeks. And now, for the thousands in attendance here at the MGM Grand and the millions watching around the world on HBO pay-per-view. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, standing with head trainer Nacho Berenstein, wearing black, official weight 142 pounds. His professional record, 53 victories, including 39 knockouts, with 5 defeats and 1 draw. Tonight, he is the challenger. The 3-time world champion, the current lightweight champion of the world, damas y caballeros de Ciudad de Mexico, el gran campeón, Juan Manuel Dinamita Marquez. And fighting out of the red corner with head trainer Freddie Roach, wearing white and blue, officially weighing 143 pounds. His professional record, 53 victories, including 38 knockouts, with 3 defeats and 2 draws. From Sarangani Province, the fighting pride of the Philippines, the 8-time world champion, recognized as pound for pound the best in the world, the reigning, defending WBO welterweight champion of the world, Manny
Pacquiao.
Okay, gentlemen, caballeros, you already received your instructions. Usted recibió instrucciones. Okay, if it goes right here, it's okay. Anything below that's low. Aquí está bien, aquí no. If it goes right here, it's okay. Anything below that's low. Aquí está bien, aquí no. Keep everything above the waist. De los cintura para arriba. I want a good, clean fight. Y aquí una pelea limpia. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourselves at all times. Escúchame, cuídate. Listos? Let's go. Vámonos.
Does Marquez, at 38 years old, have enough left to make a third great fight with Manny Pacquiao?
Round one begins with Pacquiao all the way out to the center of the ring before the bell sounded. Southpaw against a conventional fighter. But in their first two fights, their heads only came together once. Two very clean fighters. Seldom has either been charged with a foul. Pacquiao starting behind his jab. Pattern of the first two fights, Pacquiao throws more jabs than Marquez. Marquez looks to counter with power shots.
Manny is fighting very, very intelligent. Notice he's keeping his balance, doing a lot of fending before he punches to make sure that he doesn't get counterpunched so easily. He looks very, very strong. It seems to be just a little bit faster with his coordination and his movement at this stage. Even though no one has landed a punch, he seems to be better balanced.
Marquez tries the jab, just a little bit short. Pacquiao's jabs have been short. He's more active. Some theorized the possibility that Pacquiao might throw a wrinkle into this by laying back a little bit in the early rounds and making Marquez lead so that he himself could find something to counter with power. There's the first hard shot of the fight, a left hand straight up the middle on Marquez's chest. And now Pacquiao again reaches Marquez with the left, this time up top. Little red mark already on the nose of Juan Manuel Marquez. That came from the Pacquiao left hand.
That is what is going to be his signature punch in this fight here. And I'm looking at the way Marquez is standing. Manny's going to try to drive a straight left hand right through the center.
Freddie Roach said, very concertedly, this was Manny's best training camp ever. All I can say to that is, imagine that.
He looks
Two body
good.
shots for Marquez.
Manny looks very fast, very well coordinated. Very, very good balance.
They both look ready. Pacquiao just missing over the top with the left hand. The red mark on Marquez's nose is on the right side, just inside the eye.
These guys have fought 24 rounds, and right now there's a lot of respect between both of these guys. And Manny seems to be just a little bit faster, but I think a lot of it is respect, feeling each other out a little bit. But I would notice that even when Marquez did let Manny mix, he didn't counterpunch. And you see Manny now doing the counterpuncher.
Absolutely right. He's the counterpuncher now, and he landed a right uppercut. Now he fires the left up the middle again. Marquez hasn't been able to tag him with anything good. Couple of body shots for Marquez there, but Pacquiao won the round, it appeared to me, with a couple of good left-hand shots.
High-intensity round, even if there wasn't a lot of action.
Don't throw in like that. Don't throw in like that. Very nice, very nice. Bring your hands back up to where they're supposed to be, Juan. Very good, very good round. You're going in, you're attacking the body good.
Use that thing, use that foot thing. Use those things a little bit more for me, okay? Make him commit. Make him commit. Use that thing, make him commit.
box numbers in round one. Marquez didn't really get going, only 7 of 32. Pacquiao only threw 38 punches, landed 11. A couple of them were good, hard left-hand shots. It appeared that Manny was experimenting, particularly in the second half of the round, with laying back, trying to make Marquez lead, and casting himself in the role of counterpuncher. Crowd wants more action to go with all that intensity. Both fighters are still being tactical and relatively cautious. One change that's taken place since their first fight, the development of Manny Pacquiao's right hand. He was a searching left-hand puncher, double jab, left hand, over and over back in 04. There's way more variety in his game now.
Oh, he's a very balanced out fighter now. I love his speed, his defense is good, his balance is phenomenal. He looks very strong, too.
Well, that transformation happened before their second fight, largely, and Marquez still gave him all the problems in the world in the second fight.
Leaned in, Marquez got in a body shot, just missed with a long right hand. Marquez jabbing to the body, trying to create some action here, trying to scare up something that he can counter from Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao's been very judicious, very selective, has landed when he wanted to. Marquez getting ready to take a couple more risks, or so it would appear. He has stepped forward about 6 inches, getting himself into tighter range with Pacquiao.
Pacquiao knows while he has a guy in front of him who's his own size, or maybe even smaller, he's also his own skill level, and he hasn't faced that in a long time.
Body shot by Marquez, and then he landed an uppercut at the end of the exchange.
Marquez has did his homework on studying the left hand of Manny Pacquiao after 2 fights in 24 rounds. You see, very much aware of avoiding the straight left hand of Manny's, more than anything else.
And you saw him there trying to counter over Manny's left hand with his right hand, something he did so successfully in the first fight between the two. Now Pacquiao lands a left hand, comes back with a body shot. Pacquiao blindingly fast on his feet.
This is the thing I think that's more troublesome than anything that's intentional now, aside from his punching power. His rhythm, he's got that little jerky moving in and out tight. As the fight goes on, it wears the guy out mentally just trying to keep up with his body rhythm.
Right hook by Pacquiao. Marquez came across with a right hand across the top.
Put your legs out. I want you to take, do me a favor, I want you to take a deep breath and back out.
Now let's start moving to the right, get that foot on the outside. Right, you walking into his right hand.
Put that arm down for me, man. Just relax, put those feet.
Very nice. Lively when you're boxing. But you can't permit yourself any errors. You understand? The gloves. Clean out the gloves. Clean up the gloves. Sit those punches down.
Second round, CompuBox numbers began to even up just a little bit. Pacquiao 9 out of 42, Marquez 8 out of 30. Marquez landing 6 power shots to only 4 for Pacquiao. Round 3 gets underway.
Thought Marquez won the round.
A far more tactical fight so far than was the case in either fight number 1 or fight number 2, or at least, according to my memory, it seems that way. Harold Letterman gave the second round to Juan Manuel Marquez. Seesaw pattern, I win a round, you win a round, is another thing we saw in the first 2 fights. Left hand over the top for Pacquiao. Kind of a war of nerves in here in round 3.
Yeah, but Manny's speed just seemed to be a little bit faster than Marquez, and that's what's in addition to him looking physically stronger. But his speed is just so much. Even though Marquez is doing good now, but still he's having a problem trying to deal with the speed Manny as he's coming in.
Marquez landed a right hand down the chute. Pacquiao came back with a left hand up the middle.
Manny Pacquiao knows he has to be defensively responsible against Marquez, who's such a good counterpuncher, and as a result, it's muted Pacquiao's offense. He's muted his own offense.
Pacquiao making Marquez miss, but not firing back. Marquez fighting a conservative defensive fight here in round 3. Another jab to the body. Trying to get Manny Pacquiao to bring that guard down just a tiny bit.
These have been so far 3 of the quietest rounds these two have fought.
Small amount of combustion there. Little body shot for Marquez. Left hand over the top for Pacquiao. Marquez sticks a straight right hand. There's a hard right hook by Pacquiao. Best punch of the fight so far. Marquez feels the need to answer. Now the action begins.
Don't just stand there. Don't stand still. Juan, don't stand there. When he's throwing that left, don't stay there. Come on, I'm working. Coming.
Levanta. Hey, no le des tanta agua, despacio.
Jinky Pacquiao is increasingly comfortable at the big fights, able there to smile and make a motion toward the camera, but you can see the nerves underneath that countenance. She has never become quite accustomed to the notion of watching her husband fight. She tries it, she goes through it, but she's nervous the whole time. CompuBox numbers in 3, they both landed 10 punches. Pacquiao 10 out of 3, 53. Marquez 10 out of 39. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
You know, Jim, I got to tell you something. In 2 fights so far, Manny Pacquiao won both of them, both big controversies. And I'm starting to wonder whether that one-on-one Marquez style just impresses the judges enough to win a fight. He backs up. He does nothing flashy. You know what he does is very unusual. Judges like myself tend to go for the effective aggressor. I gave rounds 1 and 3 to Manny Pacquiao because of the fact that he's the effective aggressor, and he looks better doing it. 29-28, 2 rounds to 1, Pacquiao.
Now we're seeing the kind of action we saw in the first 2 fights. I hit you, you come and try to hit me back. One of the reasons that we have seen flowing, sustained action from them in their first 2 fights.
I think Pacquiao just convinced himself a little bit that he can impose his speed on Marquez.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing, a lot of speed. I mean, Marquez just looks so much slower than he does. And this is maybe the fastest I've saw Manny myself. And he's keeping good balance on. I've saw him punch a lot and get out of position, but he's very, very conscientious of getting out of balance in this fight. So he's punching and getting back in position right away.
Reaching left hook for Marquez. Made contact, but not solidly. Best punches of the fight have been a couple of Pacquiao left hands in the first round and a Pacquiao right hook in the third. Now Pacquiao begins to land solidly with a left and a right upstairs. Another left hand. Slight swelling above Juan Manuel Marquez's right eye, possibly from a Pacquiao left. Marquez goes to the body with his right. I was about to say a little while ago, one of the reasons that we often see free-flowing action from them is that Pacquiao's by nature an attacker, but he's also a great counterpuncher. Marquez is by nature a counterpuncher, but he's also a great attacker. Everything that happens generally gets answered and then answered back. Marquez must be careful when reaching for those low body shots that Pacquiao doesn't time him and counter upstairs. Now Manny begins to exploit those angles. He goes by you on one side and then comes back.
He's shooting his left hand. A lot of times, not with the full knockout power, but shooting it almost like a fast jab just to change up his attack, and therefore Marquez can't really time the left hand as much as he did before.
And you see the challenge for the 38-year-old Juan Manuel Marquez, fighting at a weight class far above what he's accustomed to, trying to keep up with the speed of Pacquiao, who's far more accustomed to this weight. Good left hand by Pacquiao. Marquez lands a right return. Here we go. Here we go.
Okay. After those exchanges, we gotta move that head. All right, he's coming back.
You're gonna win, Juan. Let him despair. Be focused. Jab. You hit the right low into the body.
Here you see what Marquez and Pacquiao both was concerned about, getting counterpunched. Anytime either one of them throw a punch and leave himself out of balance, boom. Beautiful right hand come back by Marquez right here.
Good right hand shot. CompuBox numbers in the fourth round. Pacquiao 15 out of 47. Marquez 12 out of 43. Pacquiao with a slight edge in power shots. On Harold Letterman's card, Manny Pacquiao goes to 3 rounds to 1. Punch was blocked by Pacquiao, as were the 2 preceding. Pacquiao, a far more responsible defensive fighter than was the case 8 years ago. CompuBox numbers between rounds showed you that this fight is taking place at a slower pace than the second of their fights. Uppercut from Marquez. Pacquiao seemed momentarily not to be paying enough attention. Marquez landing easily from outside then. Now Pacquiao comes back, answering, firing his double jab left hand combination. Still the preferred combination for the Filipino star. Right hand over the top for Marquez. Was knocked back on his heels. Best punch of the fight so far. Manny wants to answer back right away.
But this is what makes the type of fight that these guys are doing. When one guy gets hit, the other guy automatically comes back right away.
Pacquiao landed a right hook and a left hand. Marquez comes back with a solid left up the middle. Pacquiao again wants to answer back. 20 seconds to go in the round.
Most dominant round of the fight so far, authored by Marquez.
And he is loosening up and gathering confidence and starting to fire. But his right eye is also beginning to swell. Good round from Juan Manuel Marquez.
Otro round, Juanito.
Another beautiful round.
Terminando de golpear.
You gotta finish. When you finish punch, lively with your defense. Bring your defense up. Double up your defense. You won that round.
Ay, buenísimo.
Danny, you gotta stop chasing this guy. You gotta start moving to your right.
Wag! Brad! Huwag kang umikot! Sumunod sa kanya! Huwag ka sumunod! Lumawas ka dito! Huwag doon! Huwag mo! Huwag ka sumunod!
Here you see which is the best punch of the fight right here. Straight right hand, right on the chin from Marquez. Hit it straight between the gloves, right down the pipe.
Manny Pacquiao's chin tested there by Juan Manuel Marquez. Remember the pattern of the first two fights? Marquez lands more power shots through 5 rounds here. Pacquiao 30 of 83 on power shots. Marquez 33 out of 91. The pattern begins to emerge again.
Pacquiao looked up right before the bell for this round as if to say, looking to the heavens, here we go again with this guy.
5 rounds have gone by pretty quickly. Here's the 6th of a scheduled 12. Marquez was buoyed by winning the last round. His corner spirits were lifted. Good jab by Marquez. Sneaking it in across the top of Pacquiao's right hand. Judging by the chants, the crowd's about 50-50.
But by nature, the Mexican fans are louder, more boisterous than the Filipino fans.
Marquez blocking Pacquiao's left there. Body shot by Marquez. Drives Pacquiao back. Pacquiao lands a little left inside, steps away at an angle.
Marquez looked like a 9-1 underdog to you guys?
Not even close. Those odds were absurd. Pacquiao's been so mesmerizing, and some of his fans and followers have become irrational in terms of judging his quality compared to the guys he's fighting. There's a good right hand by Marquez, countering off the ropes. And there's a hard left by Pacquiao, and a good right hook, and another left. We're close to having full combustion here. All the burners are on. Let's see how high the fire builds. Hard right hand by Marquez, followed by another. Pacquiao with a right hook. Marquez with the left hook.
We're picking up where we left off with the last 2 fights now.
Absolutely right. These last 2 rounds have been round 13 and 14 of the second fight.
Both guys tried to see if they could do better than the first 2 fights, if they could outclass the other guy, and it seems like they've decided there's no way around this. We got to duke it out.
Absolutely. 2 fighters who know each other very well. The inherent beauty of the trilogy. Marquez driving Pacquiao back with a body shot as the round comes to a close. Close round. Both fighters have their moments.
Brad, kuha na ang sukat ha. Nakuha mo na ang sukat. Kasi pag dito ka, nakasunod ka sa kanya, bibito siya lagi ng kanan. Pero kung ikaw nauna dito sa kanan, mas lamang ka. Inawag lalong. Inawag lalong.
Sí, te grabe.
Okay lang tayo mo. Okay lang tayo.
Es demasiado riesgo porque pega.
Careful, he's got power, but you're boxing very well.
Gracias. Cierra los ojos.
Close your eyes.
Here we see, similar to the last 2 fights, where Manny shoots shots, get out of position sometimes because he punches so hard, and boom, here comes Marquez right back, taking advantage of that.
CompuBox numbers showed that Pacquiao was more active in the round, throwing 46 punches. and landing 15 of them. Marquez only threw 28. It was his low output for the fight. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
I've got it 4 rounds to 2, 58, 56, Manny Pacquiao. I thought Marquez won, definitely won round 5, certainly won round 2 in my estimation. But other than that, it's the effective aggressiveness and a hard left hand of Manny Pacquiao. I like when he fights it. You know, I like when he throws a punch and he steps to the side. That's impressive because it's ring generalship. 4 rounds to 2, Pacquiao.
I could certainly see that. To tell you the truth, I don't think anyone won that first round. Nothing much happened.
But the Nevada State Athletic Commission and most ring authorities now vigorously discourage even round. There's a perfect right hand shot by Marquez. Pacquiao getting his chin checked once again.
Not that it was necessarily even, but it may not have been to Pacquiao either.
Well, the difficulty of scoring fights between the two of them is bespoken by the divergent scores of both of the first 2 fights. One judge in the first fight, 115-10 for Marquez, another 115-10 for Pacquiao. In the second fight, the same thing happened with scores of 115-112.
You know, I don't know what the punch output has been in the first 2 fights, but these guys are fighting much more respectful, a lot more careful this fight than they did in the first 2 fights. So the punch output is, I think, down, but they're punching more for accuracy down. Each guy's trying to make sure he doesn't make a mistake and leave himself open to get counter punch.
Shot by Marquez. Those punches score. Good left upstairs by Pacquiao. And a double right that knocks Marquez back. Marquez makes another stand in the center of the ring. There's that left-hand body shot again. You wonder when Pacquiao's going to be able to counter over the top of that with a right. There's a right hand upstairs by Marquez, and again. His timing on that right hand is extraordinary.
Yeah, he's really placing. Even though Pacquiao may be winning, I mean, but I'm not spoken that to the crowd. The most important thing to me is to see how effective Marquez has been landing with those clean, well-placed shots.
There was an amazing piece of footwork by Pacquiao, who moved to 3 or 4 different places while Marquez was standing still. There's another amazing piece of footwork as he lands a shot and goes by Marquez to a place where
Marquez is taking his time to place his punches.
There's the uppercut. Brilliantly thrown by Marquez. Again, both men had their moments.
Kasi, huwag kang umikot dito. Huwag kang umikot. Dito ka mag-ikot sa kanan. Kuha mo. Kasi pag dito ka sa kanan, dito ka sa kanan.
You need your hand speed.
Agad.
You letting me get off on you, man. We need combinations.
Yeah, he's desperate now. He's desperate. He's become desperate now. And he fakes you, he jumps to discontrol
Let's
you.
take a look at Manny Pacquiao's foot movement after he lands a punch. This is what I was talking about at the end of the last round. He lands a left and a right. Now watch him run away at an angle where Marquez can't possibly throw a shot. He did it 3 straight times at the end of the round.
That's the thing that's underappreciated about Marquez. I mean, Manny, is his footwork.
Well,
then Marquez waited till he stopped moving and nailed him with an uppercut.
I had a great pro football player as a guest at Pacquiao versus Cotto. Charles Tillman, who plays cornerback for the Chicago Bears, seeing his first live prize fight. And I asked him, I said, what impresses you about Pacquiao? He said, easily, the footwork. I've never seen an athlete in any other sport who could get to so many places so fast.
Meanwhile, we're dealing with another drawish fight so far.
Our shots in 7. Pacquiao landed 16 out of 31. Marquez 11 out of 21. You saw between rounds that Manny Pacquiao is bleeding from the mouth. Bleeding from a cut apparently inside his lower lip. There's an oddly shaped right-hand shot by Pacquiao that landed. There's Marquez coming back with his conventional straight right cross over the top.
Every time that Manny throws a punch, Marquez comes right back with a counterpunch.
Realize no one has competed with Pacquiao since the last time Marquez fought him. He has just smoked everyone he's faced.
In order to compete with him, you must have great craft, you must have pretty good footwork, and you got to have some speed. Marquez can't match Pacquiao for footwork or speed. He can match him for craft, for sure.
But he takes his time. He's always in good balance position, and he takes advantage of Manny running in and is over anxious and getting out of position. So he doesn't try to match him in those other areas. He just takes his time and places his punches. Very effective. Just like
Uppercut by
that.
Marquez,
The left uppercut.
and a right hand upstairs. Pacquiao needs to answer back. Tries to fire a right hook. Marquez counters with a left.
Pacquiao hasn't fought another great fighter who still had it since the last time he was in with Marquez, and obviously the great Marquez still has it.
At 38 years old and fighting at a weight which many felt would severely debilitate him in the fight, Juan Manuel Marquez is giving as good as he's getting from round to round and staying right there with Manny Pacquiao once again. Left hand over the top by Manny.
And Marquez comes right back with a shot every time after that.
More and more, though, Pacquiao is ensuring himself by running to a side at an angle after he lands the left. Right hand by Marquez again. He times Pacquiao perfectly with that shot.
Most memorable punches in this fight that have landed so far have been Marquez shots.
Yes. You know, Manny creates a lot of excitement with just his body rhythm, so I can easily see, in addition to his punching power, why judges get influenced by it, because he's always moving, jiggling, creating excitement.
And throws the left hand down the middle, which landed to end the round, and in a close round may have left the right final impression on the judges. That was a good, clean shot.
He doesn't know what to do. That's why I'm asking you. Throw 3 punches. 3 punches, and when you finish, block. Juan, when you finish, bring up your defense, double up your defense, and sharp when you go back. With your hands up.
Now, quick. You do it for me?
Labas-pasok tayo, labas-pasok. Ha? Okay lang? Labas-pasok tayo kasi yun ang laro mo eh. Labas-pasok. Huwag kang sumabay. Give me a deep breath. Control your breathing.
This fight is building an intensity from round to round. Power shots through 8. Pacquiao's landed 65 now. Marquez has landed 63. Marquez had a 13-11 power shot edge in round number 8. These rounds are close. It's another scoring challenge. Harold Letterman has it 5 rounds to 3 so far for Manny Pacquiao.
Wouldn't be hard to imagine one of these judges having it 5 rounds to 3 the other way.
Indeed, very possible. And it's an entirely different judging panel from those who judged the first 2 fights between them. Pacquiao blocked both those shots with his gloves. That was on the back of the head, and Pacquiao shows referee Tony Weeks that it was on the back of the head. It shouldn't be seen as a scoring blow. Good combination by Marquez. And another good combination by Marquez. Now Pacquiao blocks another shot with his gloves and steps up to look to answer back because Marquez had 2 good offensive moments. Hard right hand down the middle by Marquez. Hard left hand in return by Pacquiao. Pacquiao needs to find a way to land some combinations here. Marquez is landing more combinations than Manny does at this moment. Pacquiao starting to rely a little bit more on his right hook. Misses with the left. They trade shots at close range. Pacquiao backs Marquez off. Stop. Stop. Good left hand shot by Pacquiao. Tries to come back and capitalize. Marquez wants to answer right away. Stop. Suspense builds as Marquez attacks again. Here comes Pacquiao. Knocks Marquez off balance. Here's Marquez with a counter shot. 20 seconds to go in a close round. Left hand for Pacquiao, and that might have won him the round. What a tremendous round. The crowd's on its feet. We've got a fight in Vegas.
All right. That's what we have to do. We have to knock this guy out. Let's go after him.
3-4 punch combinations, and he doesn't know what to do. Don't go through the ropes. Don't go to the ropes, please. If he moves, attack his body. If he moves, attack his body. Don't let him go. Don't bring your hands down. Please don't bring your hands down.
When you see these kind of exchanges right here going back and forth, it's like who you judge won these exchanges or win these, that's who's going to win the fight. Because they're going back and forth, tit for tat. This one here was, I would have to give up to Manning. That's simply because he looks so strong, so fresh, and it's nice little bears and footwork that he threw there.
I agree with you, Emmanuel. Yes. Marquez landed some signature shots, but Manny outworked him.
CompuBox numbers in 9. Pacquiao 17 out of 70. Marquez 17 out of 56. Now here's the big moment. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, so I've got it 87-84, 6 rounds to 3. Manny Pacquiao. And I want to answer Emmanuel's question. I want to tell you, when the punches are equal, Manny, when the punches are equal, you got to start looking at other stuff. You look at effective aggressiveness, you look at defense, you look at ring generalship. What I talked about, what Jim talked about early on, was Manny Pacquiao's ring generalship. He hits you and he steps to the side so that when you come back, he's not there. Aggressiveness, Manny Pacquiao is the aggressor by a mile. Defense, Marquez is swelling, Manny's not. 6-3, Pacquiao.
Once again, Harold Letterman's card is unofficial. He scored the first fight 115-110 for Pacquiao. He scored the second fight 115-112 for Pacquiao. If you were scouting judges, you would say, oh, Letterman prefers the Pacquiao style. But nevertheless, he's a very, very good scorer, and other judges would do well to emulate it. Meanwhile, there's combustion again between these two guys in the tent. Marquez backs Pacquiao up for the right hand and does it again. Pacquiao pointing to his head, saying, I think I got butted. There's blood on Pacquiao's face. I'm not certain whether it's his or Marquez's.
I'm quite sure nothing matters.
Oh, for the days of 15-round fights.
And it's funny right now, Marquez should be being more aggressive. He seems to have, man is distracted right now because of the blood for a second, but Marquez is not taking it to him. He should take it to him a little bit more.
Pacquiao's cut. Pacquiao's got a cut above his right eye. Pacquiao is trying to motion to the referee that the cut came from a butt. We'll see what the Nevada State Athletic Commission tells us between rounds. And he finished the second fight with blood on his face and a cut over his eye. So did Marquez. Little right hand shot for Marquez. Marquez to the body, Pacquiao upstairs. Two-punch combination for Pacquiao. A right and a left there. He missed with the left. He landed the right. Now he lands the left. Marquez comes back with a right. Manny Pacquiao had a big rally to finish the round.
And it's a round that Marquez could have won easily, I think, if he'd have stepped it up about a minute sooner.
Might have won it anyway, but Pacquiao might have bailed himself out with that rally at the end. There's the cut, and it's bad.
Adjust tayo. Masyado mataas yung 105 natin. Baba kunti. Masyado. Baba kunti. Baba lang. Kunti lang. Baba ko.
Gotta sit still for me for just
Huwag
a
masyado.
second. Just 1 second.
Deep breath.
Kasi pag doon ka umiikot, nakukuha mo siya. Huwag kang pumunta dito sa kaliwa. Dito ka sa kanan. Adjust kunti ang 105. Adjust, ha? Rag. Kasi panghata mo, yuyuko.
Here we see a nice right hand from Marquez.
That's not what caused the cut.
And here you see an exchange right here with headbutt.
There's the headbutt.
And that's where the cut comes from.
Nevada State Athletic Commission confirming between rounds that the cut came from the headbutt. And you made the point that Marquez had a round on the table he could have won. He only threw 37 punches. And Manny Pacquiao threw 50. And partially as the result of that, Harold Letterman gives Pacquiao a key round, which on the Letterman card makes him uncatchable now, unless Marquez scores a knockout.
I'd be surprised if at least one of the judges has it tighter than Harold, maybe even for Marquez at this point.
I wouldn't be shocked, neither would anybody else, based on the scoring of the first two fights, based on the way they match up with each other. Body shot by Pacquiao. You wonder if Marquez, unaccustomed to his weight, is having a little bit more trouble getting from here to the finish line, maybe pacing himself a tiny bit.
Yeah, Manny looks so strong, even though Marquez was meeting him almost punch for punch. Manny looks physically so much stronger, much fresher, and much faster.
Marquez is 38, Pacquiao's 32.
Our interpreter, Jerry Olaya, makes clear that in Marquez's corner, Nacho Beristain is very confidently telling Marquez, you're winning. We're winning the fight. That could be influencing Marquez's choices in the ring. Hard right hand by Pacquiao as Marquez runs forward. Big left and a right by Marquez.
I have it a round closer than Harold does, and there was a round, the first I thought, that could have gone either way.
Pacquiao needs to answer back. Well, Harold has Pacquiao up by 4 rounds, so if you take 2 away, that makes it an even fight. Again, this is highly open to interpretation and could be scored differently by different judges. And again, Nacho Beristain, according to our interpreter Jerry Olaya, is confidently telling Marquez, you're winning the fight.
And he's fighting that way also. It's a big difference between doing much better than what the crowd or the public expected than actually winning on the scorecards.
Pacquiao landed his right hook, got in another right hook, but Marquez tagged him with a left on the forehead. Pacquiao's cut has not been reopened in this round.
Marquez also knows that Pacquiao in exchanges is extremely dangerous because of the hand speed, as he found out in their first 2 fights. And so in a way, he has to take what Pacquiao gives him, and Pacquiao's being more cautious than in their first 2 fights.
Hard right hand by Marquez. Pacquiao tries to answer back with a left. Closing seconds of the round.
Probably a Marquez
We've got
round.
3 minutes to go.
You had everything. Just be careful that he doesn't catch you. Careful he doesn't catch you with 1 punch and you're down, because then everything will be draw, but you're winning. Breathe. Explode, Juan, explode. Use your combination. Speed. The fight is yours.
Go.
Throw the combinations. Do you hear? Lively, lively.
Guys, Marquez's corner thinks he's winning. Freddie Roach wants to see Pacquiao put this guy on his ass. And the crowd seems to think Marquez is winning.
12th round of the scheduled 12. Harold Letterman saw Marquez coming with a win in the 11th round, getting to within 3 points on the Letterman scorecard. We've emphasized over and over, official scores may conceivably be closer than that. If Beristain is this confident that Marquez is winning the fight, perhaps he hasn't observed over the last 10 years the powerful tendency of judges to favor the puncher who throws the most punches. Volume punching is the single biggest factor in the sport in winning fights on the scorecard. Incidentally, 12th round knockouts are rare. Both fighters have only one in their career. So chances are we're headed to the finish line again. Marquez is very conservative here in the final round of a close fight. Obviously, he believes what Beristain has told him. Pacquiao blocked the second right hand. The first one tasted Pacquiao's face.
In a close fight like this, you never tell your guy that he's winning. I mean, I don't care, regardless of what he's doing, maybe better than anyone expected, and maybe there is a little blood on Pacquiao's face, but I mean, he's never dominated Pacquiao in this fight still.
Freddie Roach certainly didn't tell Pacquiao he's winning. He told Pacquiao to go out and fight.
Sometime during the later rounds in the Thrilla in Manila, Muhammad Ali told Joe Frazier, "They told me you were finished, Joe." And Frazier told Ali, "They lied to you, champ, they lied." Anyone who told Pacquiao Marquez was finished, they obviously lied.
Marquez is trying to time Manny coming in and then counter punches. So all this waiting on him to come in and mess with the straight left.
The round is on the table. The fighter who's most active in the last minute can win it. Pacquiao's mouthpiece drops out of his mouth, and there's no action, so Tony Weeks will call timeout and give Manny a chance to put it back in.
It's very unusual, especially a veteran fighter like him to have his mouthpiece come out in the last.
How did that even happen?
Very unusual.
Come on, right out of his mouth.
Time in, let's go.
With the facial expression, Manny is very, very frustrated and desperate at this stage. But he don't know what to do because every time he runs in and throws a punch, Marquez comes right back and counters him.
That's what's called counterpunching.
And a potential $100 million payday against Floyd Mayweather, potentially in May, hangs in the balance here.
Marquez has backed off in the 12th round. Pacquiao only needs to throw another combination here at the end, probably to seal this round. This was a tremendous tactical error, I think, by Juan Manuel Marquez, who finally runs at Pacquiao at the end, but never really let his hands go in that round.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Oh boy.
We talked about Marquez fighting cautiously. Pacquiao didn't exactly throw caution to the wind, aware of the skills of Marquez after now 36 rounds with him.
Oh, the pressure now falls on 3 sets of shoulders. 3 judges who have to make this critical decision. If you're looking for a definitive punch on which to score the 12th round, at the end of the round, that happened. That one left hand could prove decisive in the fight. Harold, how'd you score it through 12?
The fight, Jim. 116, 112, 8 rounds to 4. Manny Pacquiao. You were right. Manny Pacquiao came out. He fought the 12th round. You gotta fight the 12th round in a fight that you think is real close like that. I thought Manny Pacquiao had that score range of 8, 9, and 10. That helped him seal the win. I think Manny Pacquiao's going to win it by clean punching and that effective aggressiveness.
Harold, take us through Robert Hoyle, Dave Moretti, and Glenn Trowbridge. These are the judges.
Okay, start with Robert Hoyle. very, very good up-and-coming judge. He's retired from the military. You know, this is a guy that scores well constantly. I have the utmost confidence in him. Dave Moretti will forever be remembered scoring 7 rounds to 5, Sugar Ray Leonard over Marvin Hagler, which is exactly what I had. Greg Drovich is another guy, steady judge. If you have to put him in a big fight, you put him in because you know he won't blow it. He's a very good judge, Greg Drovich. So 3 Nevada guys, three good judges.
It's nervous time now. For Pacquiao. For Manny Pacquiao. For Juan Manuel Marquez. Mutual respect of the highest order. Michael Buffer holds the answer in his hands. Let's get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand, we go to the scorecards. After 12 World Championship rounds, Robert Hoyle scores the bout 114 even. Dave Moretti scores it 113. Glenn Trowbridge 116 to 112 to the winner by majority decision. And still WBO welterweight champion of the world, the fighting pride of the Philippines, Manny Pacquiao.
Well, given what Nacho Beristain was telling Juan Manuel Marquez in the corner, I guess we're going to hear a protest or a dispute from the Marquez corner. I guess we're going to hear them telling us that they feel they won the fight, but at the end of the day, Emmanuel Stewart, I personally believe this feels like the right decision.
Well, it could have went either way. It wouldn't have been surprised. I mean, in some way, Marquez won the crowd because he did better than the underdog, and he had blood coming from Manny's face. But still, when you go to the scorecards, it could have been either way. I had no opinion. It was just close.
Well, Dave Moretti and Robert Hoyle both gave the 12th round to Pacquiao, and that was critical on Moretti's 115-113 scorecard, and it was critical on Hoyle's scorecard because it pulled Pacquiao into a draw in the fight. Glenn Trowbridge gave the 12th round to Marquez, but he already had Pacquiao 5 points up at that point.
But I think a lot of it, I thought that Marquez should have stretched out a little bit more. I thought he played it too safe. He was laying back as if he was winning the fight because of the instructions from his corner. Big mistake.
I don't think there's any question about it that Marquez played it too conservatively down the stretch of the fight. He averaged only 37 to 38 punches per round. He needed to throw more than that to stay with Manny Pacquiao. Here are the numbers, and once again, they're going to follow something like the profile of the first 2 fights, where Marquez lands with greater accuracy, but Pacquiao throws more punches. Really, that's probably the biggest difference. Manny threw 142 more punches than Marquez and landed 38 more. Not all of them were big power shots, but when you're the more active fighter and you do a good job of ring generalship, as Harold pointed out, you're likely to be the one the judges favor. This time, for the first time in the trilogy, he lands more power punches. It felt as though Marquez could have reversed that if he'd simply opened up and let his hands go more. And here's a look at punch zone, which tells us where all the punches landed. And these are the punches that landed on Pacquiao, and you see the 33 body shots that Marquez got in with the left hand. He may think that the judges didn't give him enough credit for that. Pacquiao only threw and landed 17 body shots in the fight. But the left hands and right hands upstairs were enough to win the fight for Manny Pacquiao. Marquez is apparently leaving the ring, not happy, not sticking around to do post-fight interviews. And so we will talk to the winner, Manny Pacquiao. Here's Max Kellerman.
And we're going to see if we can't get Marquez back in the ring, Jim, to talk. Champ, Congratulations. What are your feelings about this fight right now? Obviously, the
All right, so Max Kellerman is having an audio problem in the ring, therefore this interview has not yet begun. And we're going to get Max a new microphone in the ring. Meanwhile, we'll keep it going from down here. The crowd response here is by no means unanimous, but certainly it's raucous and loud, particularly on the part of the Mexican fans who believe that Marquez has been jobbed one more time. And now Max Kellerman, they tell me, is ready. So let's go back to hear from Manny Pacquiao.
Right, we'll see if this works. There you go. Manny, what are your feelings about this fight? You hear the crowd, they're not happy with the decision. What do you think?
Well, the fans of Marquez, of course, they're not happy, but my fans, they're very happy because it's clearly I won the fight.
You said coming into this fight, you wanted to leave no doubt. Do you think you did that this time?
We have to accept that, you know, my opponent is not that easy. It's a good fighter, but I do my best, and you know, it's very clear. I won the fight.
What is it about Marquez that gives you so many problems? You've been steamrolling everybody else. What is it about him?
The counter puncher, and then you know, he's waiting for my punches, and then he didn't throw the punches.
Would you consider fighting Marquez again at some point in your career?
Anytime. You know, I'm a fighter. My job is to fight in the ring. It depends on my promoters, Babaron.
Manny, the fight the whole world wants to see, we talk about this every time, is Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Mayweather said he wants to fight in May. What would you like to say to Floyd Mayweather?
Well, let's get it on and make the fight happen on May 5, and let's give the people a good fight.
Thanks, champ. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much, and I would like to thank all the fans who came here tonight, and you know, from other places. So thank you. It's really good.
Jim.
All right, thank you very much. Max Kellerman's going to go now to the dressing room to see if he can possibly get some feedback from Juan Manuel Marquez. The crowd is continuing to respond to the decision in favor of Pacquiao. Emmanuel Stewart, in a situation like this, the star fighter is seen by the crowd, I think, to have gotten the benefit of the doubt. But at the end of the day, Pacquiao was more active, and I have to wonder why Marquez was so conservative in the late going in the fight.
That was a big mistake. You know, if anyone is to be blamed, it's his corner. I mean, you never, especially that type of a fight, you know, it was a close fight for anyone to feel that they was winning a fight that comfortable. He has only fought himself. And he could have stepped it up in quite a few occasions himself. But he didn't fight like he was trying to take a championship. You don't win a championship, you take it. And he didn't fight that way. And so I couldn't complain if I was in either corner at this. I don't think the outcry here is really justifiable.
I agree. On the other hand, there was a widespread expectation among experts here tonight that with the age advantage that he brought into the fight at a weight that appeared to be a very debilitating factor for Marquez and a tremendous benefit to Pacquiao, that this was the night that Pacquiao was going to separate himself and make his point, and many ringside reporters picked Pacquiao to knock out a guy who had never in 59 fights been knocked out. How do we explain to fans how these styles conspire in such a way as to make it so difficult for Pacquiao to pull away from Juan Manuel Marquez?
Well, first of all, the fight went exactly as I predicted. I always have said it was not going to be a knockout because both guys have good chins and both guys get strong at the end. But as far as not making a definitive statement, I mean, it happens. I think the style of Marquez it's always going to be a problem for him the same way Ali had problems with Kenny Norton and Joe Frazier. It's just a matter of styles. Marquez takes advantage, and he times Manny. He doesn't try to keep up with his speed, but he times him and counter punches every time Manny throws a punch and gets out of position. They could fight till we're 50 years old. It'd be a similar type fight.
So what happens here is the conspiracy of styles between the great attacker who goes forward and by doing so creates opportunities for the great counterpuncher to even the scales.
Yes, and when Marquez started getting aggressive, Manny started counterpunching him tonight. So that's why it was a very technical game, but Marquez should have stepped it up.
All right, Max Kellerman is still working back in the dressing room, and our producers are telling me that we think we're moments away from getting a possible interview with Marquez. It'll be fascinating to see what Juan Manuel and perhaps the trainer Nacho Beristain have to say. All right, all the speculation now goes to the possibility of Pacquiao Mayweather. Did Pacquiao enhance or diminish? All right, we'll get to that question later. Let's go to the dressing room now for Max Kellerman with Juan Manuel Marquez.
Champ, another very close fight. What did you think at the end?
Yo creo que el segundo robo de las tres peleas que hemos tenido, y yo creo que este aún fue más claro.
It's the second robbery of the two that we've had, and I think this one was even more clear than the first.
In your corner, Nacho Beristain, your trainer, was telling you that you were winning the fight, that you were up on the cards. Did that affect the way you fought towards the end of the fight? Did you not fight as aggressively towards the end as you might have had you thought it was close?
No, yo creo que esta pelea la ganamos claro, conectamos los mejores golpes, hicimos el mejor boxeo, hicimos todo. Yo creo que él lo sabe, otra vez la afición se vio como protestó, y yo creo que otra vez volvimos a ganar.
We won with the clearer punches, and obviously we just won again. And obviously the audience protested, as you saw, and they saw us win too. We won again.
Do you want another fight at some point with Manny Pacquiao?
No sé, todavía voy a esperar, voy a decidir mi carrera. Tal vez me retiro, tal vez continúo, no sé, pero vamos a ver qué pasa. Voy a platicar con mi familia, con mi equipo, y a ver qué pasa. Otra vez, yo creo que esto no puede ser. Echan a perder todo un tiempo de carrera, echan a perder un largo entrenamiento fuerte, y yo creo que es difícil luchar contra cuatro peleadores o cuatro personas en el ring.
I don't know. It'll be difficult. It'll be difficult to decide to see what happens. Maybe I retire, maybe I won't. It'll be difficult, but it's difficult also to throw everything away, everything that we prepared for. And it's hard when you're fighting against a rival and you're fighting against the three judges also.
Nacho Beristain is here. Nacho, knowing now that he wasn't up on the scorecards, would you have advised him differently if you could do it again?
Me deja una sensación de tristeza ver que se ponen el antifaz las gentes aquí en las que yo siempre he confiado. La Comisión de Box de Las Vegas creo que es una de las más seguras, más limpias, pero ahora me doy cuenta que el ser humano comete errores, pero este no es un error, es un robo descarado.
You know, they deceived me, and I've always confided in the commission here. I thought it was one of the best ones, but truthfully, this has been a robbery of the utmost.
Juan Manuel, anything you want to tell your fans to close out the night?
Otra vez, muchas gracias por el apoyo y gracias a toda la afición mexicana, a los latinos que nos estuvieron apoyando en México, alrededor del mundo, y ellos saben otra vez que ganamos. Y un fuerte abrazo.
Thanks to the fans, to the Latinos, to the Mexicans. Thanks you all around the world. They knew that we won. Thank you. And a hug to all.
Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Max.